In advance of the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs coming up this weekend. Looking forward to covering this matchup and talking extensively about it. Our thanks to Low T Center for helping make this happen. And you can get more information online, 1045thezone.com. We're going to hold the intros for just a little bit. Brent Doherty, Ron Slay next to me.
That's right.
Don Davenport, luckily
What's up?
Across the table from me, not within arm's reach.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You're kind of fired
Going
up
on
sometimes.
just a couple hours sleep. Yeah, that's a little scary.
And we've got three-time Super Bowl champion Ed McCaffrey sitting at the table thanks to lowtcenter.com. Ed, what is up? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's an exciting week. A lot of buzz, a little more buzz for me this
How
week.
tough is it?
Guess so.
Number one, athletes in the family, I guess safe to say.
They got a couple.
How different is it, though, from a parent perspective? Watching Christian get ready for this game.
Every parent will tell you, look, you love your kid. You want the best for them. You want them to do the things in life that they love to do.
Yeah.
And you love them and you support them. And then it's their life and it's up to them. But you're there for them either way. So it's no different, whether it's football or your kid's a musician or an actor or actress or writer or does broadcasting. As long as they're happy, you're happy. So that's all we care about. Christian's been dreaming about playing in a Super Bowl since he was a little kid, and he's getting a chance to finally do something that he's dreamed about for a long time. So we're excited. A little bit of good nervousness, I guess, but we're excited for him. But we've learned, there's nothing we can do about it. We love him. He knows that. We're here to support him no matter what happens. And then we just, hope for the best and hope he enjoys the experience. And we try to enjoy it as much as we can as well.
Did you know growing up, did you and Lisa know that he was special? Athlete-wise, talented, athletic.
You never, when a kid's a little kid, what do you know? You don't know all the other kids around the country, and you don't, they got to grow up, right, and become men. And when you're a little kid, I don't know how tall you're going to be or how much you're going to weigh or whether you'll continue to develop and then how long you'll continue to develop. But he was really good at football. He was a great athlete from the time he was born. But that's in Castle Rock, Colorado. Does that mean you're going to be an NFL player? No, it just means, hey, for your age, you're really talented. It just happens to be that he continued to develop and maintain that level of athleticism at every level.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to kind of compartmentalize, right, like as a parent, because you've got Luke coming up and going through the NFL draft process. So while we're doing this Super Bowl thing, you're also doing this NFL draft thing. That's a lot, man.
Well,
it's great, right?
I'm lucky that, the brothers all love each other. They talk every day. And it started with my oldest son, Max. He was just such a great big brother. And, I guess as a dad, I owe a lot to him. He didn't mean to be a great, but he just was one, right? He always included his younger brothers, especially Christian, in everything he was doing.
Yeah.
So Christian, whether it's playing basketball or football, he was always competing with guys 2 years older than him his whole life. But if you'd have a big brother that's not having it, he's not having it, right? Luckily, Max was, included him in everything that he ever did, and they support each other. So, Luke's lucky to have Max and Christian, as well as me, but his brothers more than anything, there to support him and guide him and give him good advice. And, they all ended up playing football, which was shocking. You never know what they're going to be interested in doing. But I love how they talk and have great relationships and feed off of each other and help each other out.
Now, I grew up watching your brother play, Billy McCaffrey,
all right.
Vanderbilt legend, SEC legend. Like, I watched them play, and now I'm wondering, you're talking about everybody picking football. How does Billy feeling about this? Like, nobody going to pull and keep the basketball genes going in the family?
Yeah, that was the sport in my family.
Yeah.
So
basketball was?
I was feeling pretty good about myself as a basketball player for a short time there.
For those that don't know, you're 6'5".
Yeah. Well, we won 2 state championships
in
basketball.
Talk that
right?
talk, baby.
Played at Rogney Hall. And so, I set the school scoring record there. It was a 1,000-point score.
Just a light day at work.
But, it lasted less than a year because my sister shattered my record in less than a year, and then my brother beat her record in less than. So I was already way down on the charts before they even graduated high school. But we grew up loving basketball.
Yeah.
And everyone in my family played basketball. And so I probably knew more about that sport. In fact, when I decided to play football in college, most people in my area were shocked because our football team, I love football. And I love my teammates, but we were not good. We were 0-11 and 2-9.
Not good.
And 2-9 my senior year. And but we played in the East Penn League, which is Saquon Barkley went to Whitehall, and there's there's Hall of Fame players that have played in our conference in high school. It was a really good conference. Phillipsburg from New Jersey was in our conference. So it was like the best conference in Pennsylvania for football. But we weren't the best team in that conference. So people were shocked I actually was playing football in college. Went all the way out to California to play at Stanford. I was going to walk on, though, the basketball team.
Were you?
Should have,
Dr.
man.
Tom Davis was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then Coach Montgomery came in. But we went to the Gator Bowl my freshman year. And so they were like 11 games in. I'm like, man, this is hard. I'm just trying to say academically eligible at Stanford, and we're 11 games into the hoop season, and I'm drained. We just got back from Jacksonville, the Gator Bowl, played Clemson, Michael Dean Perry, all those dudes. And so I didn't play that first year, but I'm like, I'll play next year.
Yeah.
But by that time I was starting. But I wanted to play basketball at Stanford. And I would play with them. We had Todd Lickey, was a pretty good player at Stanford, right, drafted, I think, by the Nuggets in the 15th pick. And then a lot of other pretty good hoops players. They used to battle against, Steve Kerr and Sean Elliott and all those great players that were playing at the time in the Pac-12. And I always loved the sport. Always wanted to play. But all my kids were football guys.
Love it.
They all grew up playing basketball.
That's all right.
Dylan was my third son. He was the only one that won a state championship in high school. But they all did play basketball.
That's dope, man. Ed McCaffrey, 3-time Super Bowl champ here, but on behalf of Low T Center, and I gotta say this, man. You feeling tired and grumpy? Let Low T Center reinvent your men's health care because it is good. I'm a consumer of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to speak on behalf of that before we dove back into the football. Now, you got your son, Christian McCaffrey. I hear so much about the things that he goes through as far as taking care of his body. How much, because young guys listen, young kids listen, athletes of all kind. How important is that to start early? Because in the latter part, when you have those aches and pains, you can get ahead of that a little bit if you're doing the right things.
Yeah, you got to be proactive. You got to do as many preventative things as you possibly can to stay healthy, so that when you play a football game, you're the best that you can be.
Right.
And he's pretty obsessed with taking care of his body, eating right, sleeping right. He does everything he can possibly do. And I used to think I did everything right, and I maybe pushed him in that direction to make sure that he's, in the beginning it's get your sleep, eat right, stay off your feet, recover, ice tub, in the beginning. Then it's, muscle activation techniques and chiropractors and masseuses. Then it's Aldoa, now it's out. And he's taking it to a whole nother level. Like he's doing stuff I didn't even know about to get ready for games. But it's because he loves the game, and he owes it to himself and his teammates to be the best version of himself. And there's a lot of players in the NFL now doing that. You heard about Tom Brady with the TB12, and he's got his whole team of people. And you could kind of compare it to like NASCAR. Yeah. Like you run a car in a race, right? There's like a 27-point checklist that every car goes through after the race to make sure they can fine-tune the car to get ready to race again. When you play an NFL football game, they equate it to car accidents, right? Yeah. You play running back, you just got about in 15 car accidents. You better start right after the game getting your body ready to play the next week. So he knows that, and he's so good about it. And so whatever he does, man, he's done everything to get to that point.
Ed McCaffrey with us, obviously dad of Christian. And, we have heard a lot out here on Radio Row. Oh, you never bet against Mahomes, right? Like that's the popular talk. Tell me what you see with this Niners team that you think makes them special and what they need to do to be successful this week.
Well, it's a great locker room, and I know that you got to execute and make plays on the field.
Right.
But I think this team has the right mindset. It starts with their head coach, Kyle Shanahan. He loves the game. He understands the assignment of every player at every position on the field. He speaks to the team that way. They believe in each other, and then they have a lot of talent. Offensively, look, they got a good O-line, starting with Trent over there at left tackle. And then they got an unbelievable quarterback who leads in most statistical categories. He's proven even last week, hey, you're down by 17. It's not too much of a lead. We can come back, make plays with my feet, throw the ball all over the field and win the game. And then, they got Christian, who's a challenge for any kind of running back, but also a receiver. You got Debo, and the combination of Christian and Debo at the same time really gives head coach Kyle Shanahan the ability to move guys around and create mismatches defensively. But then you got a great number one out there in BA. And then you got your all-pro tight end in George Kittle. So, offensively, there's a lot of weapons there. Now, Kansas City's defense, this is the best defense Kansas City's ever brought to the Super Bowl. They're holding teams to less than 14 points. So it's going to be a real chess match from both teams. But there's all-star players all over the field. And, it's going to be a challenge to stop the San Francisco offense. That being said, the Kansas City defense did it against Baltimore, and they've played well and at a high level all year long. And the same can be said about the San Francisco 49er defense. They basically shut teams out for 2 second halves. But they did, have some points scored on them in the first. I want to see the second half in Green Bay and the second half in Detroit and put, 2 halves together like that. And if the defense comes to play the way they did, because, teams win games, right? Patrick Mahomes has never won a game by himself. Neither has Brock Purdy. Teams win games. And so I think it's going to be a close game. And I think it's going to take all 3 phases. And I think there's going to be a couple plays here and there we look back at like we do every Super Bowl and say those are probably the most important plays. But every play in this game counts.
Well, Ed McCaffrey, 3-time Super Bowl champion, among other things, trying to get a Super Bowl, trying to get a kid drafted. Congratulations. Good luck on all of your endeavors.
Thank you.
And we'll be thinking about you on Sunday.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
there he is, Ed
Yep.
McCaffrey. Thanks to lowtcenter.com. When we come back, we'll get Coach Mac Stake on the Super Bowl. Next, 3HL, broadcasting live from Vegas. We appreciate you being with us. Spread the word. You can watch the show live, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. And
Twitch, please.
We've got more coming up.
I'm like, hang on.
Coach Mac is next. Our thanks to Low T Center for helping make this broadcast possible. It's 3HL 104.5 The Zone.